Hey everybody, it's Book Crazy Katie, and today's video is The Bear and the Nightingale review, and please find me on social media at the following links.
Hey everyone, it's Book Crazy Katie, and today I want to do a review on The Bear and the Nightingale by Catherine Arden. And I know this book is widely loved on BookTube, and I've heard about it, and I was really unsure if I wanted to read it. And the only reason I actually ended up reading it is I had seen it on sale on Kindle app, and I had passed it up, and then I saw somebody at work reading it a few days later, and I asked her if the book was any good, and she's all like, yeah, it's really lovely, and she's like, oh, if you want, you can borrow it. And so a week or two later, she brought it in for me to borrow. I told her it would take a while before I got to it, which it did. And then I got to it, and I just didn't feel the love that everybody else feels for this book. So I'm just going to go into my feelings on it and tell you why. And so The Bear and the Nightingale is about this girl, Vasya, or Vasilisa, as her full name denotes. And I can't remember her last name. Girl Vasya, and she can see spirits, and there's this guy Constantine who's a priest that's trying to Christianize the whole area. The way this girl acts and behaves really throws him off, and he's really also drawn to her too. And so there's some weird things going on, but she sees spirits, can talk to them and interact with them. She's in the center of all this stuff that's going to happen, and there's some kind of threat looming, some spiritual Russian folklore threat looming, and don't really know what's going on for most of the novel, for me personally. It's a very, very slow, plodding novel, which, there's plenty of slow-going novels that I can take where the plot slowly unfolds and you find out more. Usually I feel like those kinds of novels generally have character development, and unfortunately I don't feel like I saw that much character development or really fell in love with any of the characters or gave a damn about them. I don't even have to fall in love with the character usually, I just need to understand them and their motives. And I don't feel like I really got that from The Bear and the Nightingale. Another issue I was having, and I really noticed it in the first 50 or 60 pages of the book, was that there were spelling and grammatical issues that I was noticing, and most of what I noticed was missing definite and indefinite articles. So something, I said for an example, and I wish I would have marked things, but I'm just usually not that kind of reader and don't usually have post-it right on hand, especially if I'm on the bus reading, which I actually have post-its in my bag, but that takes time and throws me out of the whole thing of reading. But there'd be a sentence blank of blank, and would not have of an or of a, and so for me that was very jarring when it would happen, and it actually did seem like it got better throughout the rest of the book, but was really noticeable, and I noticed handful of times that something like that had happened, or something was misspelled or something. And so that did throw me off a little bit as I was reading the book, and I feel silly holding this up. And another thing I was having issues with, so I've talked about, talked about slow pacing and not connecting with the characters. And for me, I was having a very difficult time being able to read and focus. And then this is another one of those books where nothing really happens until the end of the book, and so you get to the end and all of a sudden you're kind of sucked in a little bit. But a lot of times for me that just does not work. It just really makes me mad and really turns me off of things. And so I got to about page 200, 212 or something before the book kind of started to pick up a little bit. So for me, that really threw things off. And I don't know enough about Russian folklore at all to know how good this is, and how faithful it is to stories that exist in Russian folklore. And that is also another issue I have. This book has a glossary, and it's at the back of the book. But I didn't realize that there was a glossary in it until 60 to 80 pages in. And so by that point, like, the glossary. So by that point, I'd already been reading quite a bit and stumbling across these Russian words and not having anything that's in context in the book telling me what they meant. You know, like when you read the Magnus Chase series, Rick Riordan provided both a glossary at the end of his book and a pronunciation guide, as well as within the book was telling you what things meant, and we didn't get that with The Bear and the Nightingale. So I don't think I'm gonna be reading. That's so close. So for final thoughts of this book, it did get better towards the end. I gave it a 2.75 star rating on Goodreads. I don't know if it'll drop down later. I don't think it'll get any higher because I don't feel the love for it. I don't think I want to struggle with trying to read the book a second time. I think this is where it's at. There's a vague very small portion of me that kind of wants to read the next book in this series. However, I really don't think that's actually going to happen. I don't think I'm going to want to read the next book. And so this is probably where it ends. I actually can't really tell where the next book would even go. Either, like, what she would, like, go and what she would encounter next. I just know that she's going to the edges of the earth, and I have no expectation on what the next book would be. So to me, like, this could have been a standalone book and I would have been fine, but I'm not invested in it, so I just don't understand it. If you love this book, please, if you read this book and you loved it, please tell me what you thought about it. If you didn't love the book, and on the same side of the fence as me, let me know why and what you took away from it. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you want. I look forward to commenting and interacting with you guys. See you later. Bye.